ladies, I'm back with another video, and today I want to get into why we should be more gentle to our boyfriend slash husband slash fiance slash, partner. This is my favorite part of the day. Okay, this is my favorite part of the day. My favorite part of the day is video. So it's my favorite part. So but let's get into how we're gonna be more gentle to our partners. Number one. Wait, before I start, I just want to say that I'm working on these also. So, how it started was I asked my fiance and I asked my brother, I said, you know what are some ways that female could be more gentle? More kind to you guys, more I started asking them questions because I was coming up with ideas, right? But I was like, I want to know what guys think, They had a whole list. They had a whole list and more. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how this all gonna fit into one video. So if it's too long, I will cut it up into pieces, part 1 and part 2, okay? But they had a whole list, and and as they was going down the whole list, both of them, I was just like, yeah, I need to work on a couple things. So don't worry, ladies, I'm also working on a couple things because this is just normal stuff. We always learning, finding out new things, and sometimes we don't know what we do until somebody pointed it out. Sometimes we don't know what we do until somebody be like, hey, I didn't like that. That really hurt my feelings, So yeah, and then they don't talk, even though we beg them and we try to really be like, yo, tell me how you feeling. I can't read your mind, but it's you gotta be patient with them and things like that. You gotta be gentle. So let's go into some ways on how we could be more gentle with our partners. Okay, now to the video. Number 1, watch the way you speak. Okay, so I could be very I could be very, very quiet sometimes, and then I could be very, very loud sometimes. Not really, really loud, but I could, I noticed especially in the beginning of our relationship, his voice is very deep, right? So he has to, when he's trying to, my fiance, when we used to talk, when he's trying to make a point, he will talk a little higher, to try to, make his voice a little bit, right? He's a guy. So me trying to, instead of me staying in my little gentle voice, normal, things like that, I was trying to match it, and by me matching, I have a high-pitched little voice, so it's I'm yelling, so it's instead of me standing a very calm voice, I'm over here trying to match his energy, and it comes off very defensive, and very yelling at me, and it's yo, the last thing he needs is me yelling at him when he's trying to make a point instead of me just listening. And also just watching the way I speak, as far as not just me, but just when you're talking to your partner, to men, they don't like nagging, and they don't like disrespect. Men are very if I'm being honest, I'm still trying to figure it out so much, but what I have noticed, because I have 5 brothers, what I've noticed is they don't like to argue, and they definitely don't like to argue when people are attacking them. You know what I'm trying to say? They don't like to, most men, they don't like to argue when people are attacking them, they shut down. Most of them shut down. My brothers and somebody, it's be alright, I'm done. Alright, I done, you're not listening. It's once they find out in their mind where you didn't hear them, it's time to shut down, I'm done. I don't want to talk to them. Get really quiet, and it's and then all you hear is just them talking, and it's watch the way you speak to them, because I also think it shows respect. You don't want to be, also in the beginning of my relationship, I realized the way that when I would be I would say bro a lot, and it's because me and my fiance, we was best friends first, and I'll be bro, or not just that in general, I just be bro, that's really messed up, oh my goodness, that really made me mad, stuff like that, right? And then that's when we used to saying that with him, so it's just bro, that's crazy, things like that, So when we was in high school and stuff like that, we used to be very cool with each other, so I used to say that. So sometimes it would come out like that, and I realized that when I would talk to him as a friend in that way, he would feel very disrespected, so it's very important to watch the way we speak, because females can be very blunt. As females, we can be very blunt and just straight to the point. Men are very they have pride and things like that. The last thing they need is us just talking to them a little so it's best to talk to them gentle and be more feminine with it. I noticed that when we do get into a little disagreement, I notice if I'll be okay, well, this is how it made me feel. I really felt like this. And I feel like you didn't understand it because you wasn't really paying attention or you didn't really see it, but this is how I felt. And then he'll be like, all right. Instead of me matching his energy, he'll be like, I apologize. He'll be like, I didn't mean to do that like that. Or he'll be like, I didn't see it like that. You're right. It might have been like that. Da 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 da. Stuff like that. Like, he'll get very, like, more calm. So I feel like if you try to match their energy and speak the way they speak, it's like they will get very, like, defensive. Alright. Number 2. Ask him if he's okay. As being female, sometimes we can get caught up in our own little world, and it's all about, sometimes it could be all about, like, he didn't ask me if I was okay. He didn't ask me if I needed anything, or it's like he didn't really do what he always do. Sometimes men need that, like, comfort. Like, men have to be hard at work. They have to be hard at home. Sometimes they have to be hard everywhere they go. They gotta hold in all this stuff constantly. They especially black men. They growing up, especially going up against the world. And it's a lot that comes with it. So the last thing they need is for us to be not comforting them. Men need comfort. Like, they need someone they can come to and just, like, hold them. Just like sometimes, well, most of the time, us females need somebody to hold us when we all in our feelings and things like that. Men need that sometimes. They need somebody that they can feel like, it was hard today. And then you be like, it was. I'm so sorry to hear that. What can I do to make it easy for you today? Like, men need that sometimes. They don't need always, like, oh, well, you a man, get over it. Like, that's the last thing a person needs, especially a man. Like, sometimes men need that, like, comfort. They can't get it from, well, you should never want him to get it from anyone else but you. You should be the one that should be, like, his comfort. And also God. But you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be no other one that should be, like, well, his mom. But, you should be at least, like, I'm guessing, like, the first one he's able to come to. You should at least be that. Like, so, yeah, I agree with comfort so much. And I feel like they need it also. I really feel like they need that so much. Number 3, don't be so guarded. I am guilty of this. Okay, ladies, like, especially in the beginning of my relationship, I was very guilty of it. I was very guarded all the time. Like, on defense. It's like, how, like, it's having a conversation with us can be, like, with females, I don't know, having a conversation with us sometimes, it could be very, like, it's like we analyzing every single thing they say. Like, it's like, I think that sometimes that's why men feel like it's best to just be quiet, because it's like, dang, if I say the wrong thing, she gonna add that to this, and she gonna be like, wait, but and it's gonna be like, bro, I can't even talk. You won't let me get it out. And I'm guilty of that also. Like, I've been very guarded, especially in the beginning. Like, nowadays, it's kind of, people can be a little guarded, so, but later on in your relationship, I feel like it's okay to let your guard down. Okay, if you guys been together for, like, a year or two, like, don't still be guarded with this man. The last thing he needs to be is fighting you. Again, like, he shouldn't have to be, like, when he's trying to, like, talk to you about something, don't be so guarded. Like, be open. Like, try to give him room to, like, men they're way different from us. We overthink, we think a lot. Men think a lot, but they don't, it's like, they say they don't be thinking about nothing. So I try to believe that. I'm trying to believe that. Okay. So, like, men say they don't think about nothing. So, like, it's like, if you're constantly, like, but we as women, we think about a lot of things. Like, I can't speak for everyone, but I know I think about a lot of things. Like, a lot. So, like, the last thing a man needs is, when he do come to you and talk, you're guarded. It kind of makes it hard to talk to someone who's very guarded and overly, like, emotional, or, like, overly, like, might take this offensive, might take that offensive. It's like, dang, can I talk to you? Like, I can't not talk to you, So you don't want to be that partner that he can't come talk to you. You want to be that partner that he can feel like he can come and tell you anything, like a best friend. Like, yo, I can tell her this because I know she gonna understand. You feel me? Like, I can't wait to go tell her this because I know she's gonna be laughing at me and she gonna understand. Sometimes I could have, like, sometimes, especially in the past, I was a little more serious because when we were best friends, when we first started dating, I was a little more serious because I was like, dang, he knows. By him being my best friend at first, he knows a lot about me. You know, like it was kind of, I didn't know how to maneuver in the relationship in the beginning, but then I realized that I was super guarded, and I think that was a problem, like a secret as well. So try not to be so guarded with your partner. Try to be a little more open, especially if y'all been in a relationship a little longer. You don't want to like keep being guarded with him. You know, it's okay to open up. Number 4, ladies, it's not all about you, okay? Sometimes in a relationship we can get so caught up and be feeling so like it's all about us. It's all about the way that I feel. It's all about what you do for me. Especially nowadays, like that's all I hear. What can you do for me? And the man is like, what do you bring to the table? And she like, no, what can you do for me? I need this. And he like, all I need is this. Why you need all that? You feel me? Like, it's not all about you. Like, in a relationship, it's supposed to be about 2 people, him and you. And just because sometimes he go out his way to make things happen for you, doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out your way to also. Just because he's a man doesn't mean he doesn't deserve or he doesn't need those, like, certain things. You know, like, I don't know. I look at my man as like, oh, okay. Like sometimes, like when we do against arguments, I try to make sure that I say things correctly, or I try to make sure I be mindful, and I try to always be like, you know, like, where can I help at? I could be a little over it. Like, you know, sometimes he be like, yo, I'm fine, chill, because like I want to make sure that he always feel comfortable and things like that, because I want him to know I appreciate him. You know, like, because if you don't, like, somebody else will, you know, and it's not that, but you don't want it to make it all about you all the time. Like, you don't want it to always constantly be about you. You want to make room for him, because if it's always about you, like, it shows selfishness. It shows that you don't even care about, like, things that he likes, or the way that, you know, his day, or things like that. It's not always about you. Take time to just cater to him. I'm pretty sure you guys all heard the song by Beyonce, Let Me Cater to You. Yeah, so try doing that. Try, like, catering to him sometimes. Like, because sometimes it could be, like, us who like, well, I wanted this, and then I wanted this, and that's kind of very selfish. Like, I know a bunch of females that could be very, like, high maintenance and selfish, and they forget to be like the guy. You know, like, the guy wants to be, like, a little pampered. He want the Xbox or PS4 5 Plus or whatever they got out here. He, you know, like, you know, cater to him. Let him feel, dang, like, she really wanted her way to do this. You know, like, you want that. So, yeah. It's not all about you. Sorry to say that. I'm going to skip that. Number 6. Stop preparing for the worst. I am guilty of this one, too. Okay, so sometimes in life, as people, not just as women, I think as people, we prepare for the worst. Like, things could be a little, like, hard or whatever, and we could prepare for, like, especially as women, well, me, like, I prepare for the worst. I used to a lot. Like, I would be very like, oh, if this happens, I need to make sure I have a backup plan for my backup plan for my other backup plan with the other backup plan. You feel me? I gotta make sure that I have this amount of money saved up just in case if this happened, or I have to make sure that this, and this. You know, like, that's kind of exhausting. So in a relationship, imagine how exhausting that is. Like, it could be like, if he cheat on me, this is what I'm going to do. You know, or if he cheat on me, he gonna be messing up because I'm the best thing he ever had. Cause I can't wait for him to cheat on me, for me to show him, like, things like that. Like, that's not healthy at all. Deep down, it's like, that's very toxic. Like, preparing for the worst in your relationship, the worst will happen. If you constantly keep saying, what if you want to cheat on me, then do it. Or if you're constantly going for his phone, if you're constantly, like, preparing yourself, like, he might be cheating, or he is going to cheat on me, or, like, okay, these are the signs, these are it, this, you know, like, Google, like, whatever, you know, like, you could constantly trying to prepare yourself for the worst will happen. People, I feel like, me personally, I feel like if you give people time, they will show you the real version of themselves. Like, if you constantly pressuring somebody, you don't give them the chance to, like, show you how they would move, you know? So I'm realizing now, like, give him time to show you how he would act in certain situations. I know it's hard as a female because you always have opinions. Like, I know you don't, because I always do. Or, I don't know, maybe you don't. But, like, as a woman, I have a lot of opinions, and I'll be like, hey, you could have did this a little better, or you could have did that like this, or it'll be a little easier like this. And I'm learning to just like sometimes you gotta let people do things on their own. It could be like very frustrating. It's like, dang, like people, if you constantly saying to him like, oh, do this, or oh, do that, or oh, do this, things like that, you're not giving him a chance to be himself, right? So if you give him a chance to be himself, you will see how he work in those environments. So instead of when a female looks at him, or like instead of if you see when somebody texts him, don't spaz. See how he will react in that situation, because you want to know how he would be with you around without you around. You don't want to know how you don't want him to just block the number because you were around. You want to be like, you don't gotta say anything. He's gonna handle the situation, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's how I look at it. I hope I didn't lose you in that. But basically, I believe that if you give people time, they will show you who they really are. And I think that if you constantly pressure somebody to, yo, do this, yo, don't be texting her, yo, she texting you, da 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 da. It doesn't give that person a chance to react the way they will react. And I feel like that tells you the type of person they are. So that's just me personally. So I would also, stop preparing for the worst, because it's really exhausting, really like mentally exhausted. But me personally in life, I was mainly preparing for like if anything happened, and it's like I would never live in the moment because I'm constantly preparing for the future, what might happen. So so just take that from me. It's exhausting. So if you see yourself starting to get into that mode, especially in your relationship, hit the pause button, the stop button, and figure it out, because it's not worth it. Try not to prepare for the worst in life or in a relationship. All right, number 7, I think. Don't talk so much. I'm guilty of this. Don't talk so much. If these don't apply, let it fly. But like, if these do apply, try to. I hope it helps so much in your relationship. Give your guy some time to talk. Me, sometimes I can be very like excited. So sometimes I'll be like, what is and it's 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 like I don't never hear him like I used to never hear him say like a full sentence, and I realized that. So just like I've learned to just take a step back and be more quiet, and it's like thing I really hear what he be thinking inside. See, if you really want to know what he be thinking, be quiet. He gonna tell you what he be thinking. Like if you constantly talking, you don't give him a chance to like say what's on his mind. So like I think that if you be quiet and just listen, he gonna tell you everything that's on his mind. Like I've seen that happen. It was like it was just so amazing though. Like sometimes like when my fiance talk and I hear him talking, I'll be like, and I don't want to say nothing because I want him to continue to talk, because I want to hear him like talk. Like I don't know. It's like when you, when I hear him talk, it just be like, like it just be like that. I don't know, but I just like that. So like personally, me, I had to learn not to talk so much. So if you have that problem in your relationship, try to ease back and people too much, they gonna be all up in there, and that's the one thing you do not want. You don't want everybody constantly like, yo, remember you told me about when he did this? Yeah, guess what, I seen him doing this, guess what, I seen him doing this, and it looked like this, and she was like, guess what, I seen him at the store the other day with some girl, and then this you, that was his cousin. Oh, but I'm just saying, because remember you said he was doing this. How's that any of your business? That's his cousin. Oh, I was looking out for you, sis. No, you're just all up in something when you should have just asked me and I would have told you what happened. Things like that. Like, sometimes people don't mean to and they are looking out, but when you put too many people in your business, they watching out for certain stuff, and they won't let you forget the fact that something might have happened in the past that probably didn't seem that deep. That probably wasn't that deep, but you made it that deep in a moment. You feel me? So now it's that deep to them. And it was never that. You know what I'm trying to say? So I say if you thought he cheated, you tell your friends. You crying, oh my goodness, you did the most, because you know, overly emotional. So then you go back to him, he said, that was my cousin the whole time. So you go back to your friends, that was his cousin. But they still stuck on the fact, they just seen their best friend cry. They just seen you feel me, like, now they're real friends, they're gonna know you tripping. But if people who really take you too seriously, they gonna rock out for you 24/7. So they gonna be looking out for signs. And once you put that out there, you can't take it back. So what we say, we can't take back. So if you put that out there, people gonna be watching out for it, and that's not what you want. You don't want people watching out for your relationship because that has nothing to do with them. So that's why I feel personally, when you have a problem with your partner, run to your partner and nobody else, or to the Lord. He will figure it out. But run to your partner, nobody else, because people have a hard time letting go of things, and people also, when there's nothing going on in their lives, they need something. You know, they quick to compare their lives to others. They quick to slot with that. So the last thing you want is somebody all up in your space. Next one is trust him. Trust your partner. Not just trust like, oh my goodness, I trust you with my money, I trust you with my car, I trust you with everything. No. Literally trust your partner. I'm learning that there's levels of trust. There's not just this one part trust. No, there's literally levels of trust. Like, you have to really truly deep down inside trust your partner with everything. You feel me? Like, if you plan on marrying this person, of course, just like period, you don't want to be that girl that got trust issues. Please work on your trust issues if you do, because I didn't know that I had serious trust issues until my dad, you know, we worked it out and everything. But I didn't know I had serious dad issues until I was like 19, 18. I was just talking to my cousin sitting on the bed. We was just like talking, and like she was like, my dad, you know, I finally said some stuff to my dad that I need to get off my chest. And then I just started like crying, and she was like, yo, I've never seen you cry before, not over something like this. I just never seen you cry before, period. Like, and that's when I was just, yeah, because I also have problems with like being emotional. It's a whole independent thing I had to get over, which I'll make videos about later. But like, yeah. So like, yeah. So I never knew I had trust problems until I confronted them. You know, so you want to make sure you don't have no trust problems. So just make sure you fully trust your partner, deep down inside. You do not want to not be able to trust them. Guys, look like this video is going a little longer than I thought. No, I kind of knew. I was trying to have a run through them, but it ain't working. So I'm gonna make a part 2, and make sure you go watch that one. It's gonna be more into listening. He's not against you too. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, you are a blessing, you are loved, and I love you. Yeah, I'll see you number 2.